If your team got guaranteed money, tell them call me.
Whoop. Make me say, my.
I done been around the world.
Yeah, I was made for this.
Player Performance with J.A. Cavalier.
Live from the Devil's Playground, this is Player Performance. I am your favorite capper's favorite capper, J.A. Cavalier. Go ahead, smash the like button, thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, do us a favor, subscribe. Last week on the show, 6 and 8, all free picks and leans. Best bet, of course, cash with the Cincinnati Bengals. Top prop, David Montgomery, anytime touchdown. But that's about all the good I have to speak on. NFL handed out the script last week, and I certainly didn't get one. Just an absolutely brutal week for me. The wonkiest week in the NFL I've ever seen. A trifecta of shit. Bad capping, bad coaching, terrible quarterback play. And we don't run from our losses here. We address them, we learn from them, and we move forward.
You come to see that a man learns nothing from winning. The act of losing, however, can elicit great wisdom, not least of which is how much more enjoyable it is to win.
As handicappers, all we could do is take information from the past in hopes of predicting the future. And that's why we always stress to play responsibly, bet with your head, never above it. Last week, of course, I was down, but I'm far from out. Every year I do have a week like this. I always bounce back. And every year at the finish of the season, I'm way up. Now, we have a lot to get to on the show this week. We're going to be joined by Coach Rick. We're going to be joined by Luke Shuey. And last week's gift card winner, the $200 gift card winner, is Mike Fronsolio, 5069. Step up. You are the proud owner of a brand new Amazon gift card delivered via email from the good folks here at Why Lose. That's whylose.com. Free pick, stats, trends, scores, odds, and more. NFL Week 3 in just a sec. But first, let's recap Week 2 with Tessa Hall.
Back it up.
One more time.
All right, let's see that again.
Here's your Week 2 NFL recap. Josh Allen owns Miami, and Tua needs to own an MRI machine in his home. Justin Jefferson gave the Niners an up-close and personal look at the Jets after burning the Niners. Is Baker Mayfield elite? Lions sacked him 100 times, and he still got the dub. Lamar Jackson is like a shiny toy that does cool things, but doesn't really work very well, aka can't beat Vegas. A Florida team letting Deshaun Watson come in and beat them sounds about right. Will Levis better find a nice home in Canada. The CFL is calling after another atrocious game. Quentin Johnston learned how to catch. The Panthers learned they might have the first pick after Week 2. Jacoby Brissett continues to be the most mediocre player in the NFL, which led to their first loss. Dak Prescott got paid and is playing like the same old Dak, which means same old Cowboys blowout losses. The Commanders won a game where they kicked 7 field goals and scored no touchdowns. Fire everyone on the Giants' offense. Anthony Richardson might be going the way of Bryce Young if he doesn't clean it up soon. Marvin Harrison Jr. is now senior. He is the new father of the Rams. 2 weeks in, and Bo Nix looks exactly like Russell Wilson from a year ago. You give Pat Mahomes the ball last, and Mahomes wins. When will we learn? Caleb Williams said his punter wouldn't have a lot of work. He's punted 12 times in 2 weeks, thanks to the Texans. That's your NFL Week 2 recap.
Thank you, Tessa. And to recap my week, read all over the sheets. Just an absolute bloody crime scene. It started on Thursday night with the Tua injury. I, of course, was on the over. Dolphins going in to score. And then the two softest things in the NFL collide. Tua's head, Hamlin's chest. And what was odd about that play is it actually seemed as if Tua sought out the contact. Green grass everywhere, and you take a header into Hamlin? You have a history of concussions. You have to be more aware of your surroundings. And at what point do you say enough? At what point is your health, your family, your children more important than the game itself? I was in the stadium on Thursday nights about 5 rows from the Dolphins bench. Silence. And I'm talking about piercing, deafening, eerie silence. The CTE shit is scary. In a study of 631 former players, 71% were found to have some sort of form of CTE. And it's not just the amount of concussions, it's every blow to the head. The continuous force of impact over the career. Tua just suffered his 3rd career concussion. Should he retire? Every hit, every blow to the head, increases the odds of CTE diagnosis by 15%. It's fucking scary, man. And this week, books should be scared. NFL Week 3, let's go.
Packers versus Titans.
Titans are laying 3. The total here is at 36.5. I am on the Green Bay Packer team total under 16.5. There's this saying, you don't leave the woman who loves you. You may sometimes stray, but you always come home. This paid for me last week. I'm going right back to it. See, as bad as Will Levis is, the Titans defense through 2 weeks, best in the NFL. Packers won last week, but they still went under their team total, putting up just 16 against Indianapolis. Malik Willis passed for just 122 yards. Titans ranked first in overall yards allowed, first in passing yards allowed, second in completion ranking. It's an elite passing defense. Josh Jacobs will literally have to carry Green Bay. More run, more clock, less points. Tennessee is also a top 10 team against the run. Packers aren't going to be able to find the end zone with a fucking map. Give me the Packer team total under 16.5.
Bears versus Colts.
Indianapolis laying anywhere from 1 to 2, depending where you shop at. The total here is at 43.5. And this is just another game, another under. Caleb Williams owes his punter an apology. He told the dude that he would never have to punt. He's already punted 12 times. Williams hasn't even sniffed the end zone. Chicago's offense ranks 31st. Williams' QBR also 31st. And DJ Moore has to be the most miserable man in Chicago. If you saw him Sunday night on the sidelines, you just feel bad for that guy. Ant Richardson, is he worse than Caleb? 3 interceptions last week, a QBR of 41.8. These offenses ranked 18th and 19th in points. 43 isn't a huge number in today's NFL, but with these quarterbacks, these two teams, this just feels like a mountain. It's already dropped 2 points since open. I'm riding the wave of the movement. Under 43, Colts Bears.
Texans versus Vikings.
The Texans are laying 2 on the road. Total here is at 46. And I am on the Vikings team total under 21.5. As far as I'm concerned, this is Minnesota's first true test. Vikings team total under 21.5. Remember Sam Darnold faced the Niners every day in practice last year. He recognized the coverages, still only managed 23 points in that game, turned it over twice, sacked 4 times. Good luck. Now he faces a scheme he doesn't know, an elite defense. 3rd in yards, 5th in completion percentage, 2nd in sacks, 6th in interceptions, 7th against the run. Top 10 in all categories that matter. Held Chicago to 13 last week, sacked Caleb 7 times. Sam and the Vikings will not hit 23 this week. Vikings team total under 21.5.
Tell me what you gonna do now. Keep rolling, 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 rolling. Keep rolling, rolling, rolling.
Eagles versus Saints.
Saints are laying 2.5. The total here is at 49.5. Kellen Moore has guys running this way, that way, around the back, through the front, left, right. It doesn't matter if your quarterback is Jalen Hurts. All you're doing is creating confusion, and you're confusing your own offensive line. 9 penalties over 50 yards last week. Didn't work in Dallas, didn't work in Los Angeles. It's not going to work in Philadelphia. And I don't know who's worse at their job, Nick Sirianni, Kellen Moore, or Jalen Hurts. Philly so far has been undisciplined. A.J. Brown is a no-go again this week. And the Saints just held the Cowboys to 19 points. I still can't answer with certainty, are the Saints really this good? Both sides of the ball dominant. I do know this, though. Dennis Allen and Derek Carr have been historically bad in this spot. As a chalk, Derek Carr is 21, 36, and 2. That's 37%. That's a large sample size. And I get it. Most of that came as a Raider, but the jersey still says Carr. And every year, Derek pretty much lures you in little by little. Raiders would start 3-0, 4-0 every season, and then he reminds you of just who he is. I'm not having it. Give me the under 49.5.
Chargers versus Steelers.
The Steelers are laying 2. The total here is at 35.5. So this is the Pretender Bowl. Both teams come in at 2-0, and I am on the over 35.5. See, for me, this is just an over adjustment. I get it. 2 similar style teams. Run the ball, play defense, smash mouth physical football. Old school. but the Chargers have actually averaged 24 points a game. Steelers are going to get their touchdown, maybe add on a couple field goals. Remember, it's not going to take much to push this one over the posted total. And Justin Fields, he's due for a big week. So far, he's been serviceable, 70% completions, hasn't really turned the ball over. He just hasn't been asked to do much. But at some point, they have to take the training wheels off. And I think this could be that spot. This could be that game. The end of last year, if you guys remember, the Steelers were an offensive mess, but the over hit in 5 of the final 6 games. Most of that was due to deflated totals, such as this one. So this is a perfect buy low spot. Consider this: 32 games played in the NFL this season. 9 of them have had totals under 35.5. So a lot of coaching mishaps on week 2. I'm joined by Wiley's very own coach Rick Bowe. Always the right play in the biggest of moments. Steelers, of course, cashed last week. Nestor Ramirez scored himself a $200 Amazon gift card. Nestor has still not claimed that gift card. Nestor, step up. Coach, I do know that you have 2 picks for us today. I just want your take on something. State of emergency. The NFL, as we know it today, is in trouble. Going forward on 4th from anywhere on the field. Field goals from the 50. Not the game I played, not the game I know, not the game I love. Sirianni cost us with the Eagles on Monday night. Cost me 10 dimes in the first half, not kicking that field goal. Our offense is just that good that they can afford to pass up points. You have all these coaches going. I mean, Dan Campbell's biting off kneecaps, and he's going for it from anywhere on the field. What's your take on this?
Well, I think it all started with analytics. There's a company called Championship Analytics, and now there's a bunch more that sell data to coaches all around the country, college coaches, high school coaches, of course, the NFL. And these guys like to stick with the numbers. It takes some of the emotion out of a choice, I guess, which I don't like. I think it takes away from a coach and his feel for how a game's going. And I would prefer to make a decision based upon the flow. Hey, if I think I should go for it, give my team a better chance to win, I'm going to go. If I should kick a field goal, I'll kick a field goal. If I should punt the ball, I'll punt it. But I think guys are getting away from their own emotion too much, and I think they need to get back to that.
Well, that's a great point. You know, a coach's main job is to put his team in the best position to win. A coach's job is to make sure his players are successful. And too many of these coaches today are just taking that out of the players' hands. Week 1, you saw it happen with Antonio Pierce and punting from a position where, they were in the Chargers territory. Everybody ate them up for it. And then, obviously this week with Sirianni, it cost them the game. Cost the Eagles the game. Forget the ticket that it cost me. I understand that these teams, these coaches, these players are not playing to cash my ticket. It's just beneficial for me if it does. But it actually cost the Eagles a game, and who knows if it comes around and bites them in the ass. But let's move on. You have 2 games for us today. The first of which is
Broncos versus Buccaneers.
We've got the Broncos and the Bucks. Bucks off to a good start, 2-0. They're going to be at home against Denver. And my guy, Bo Picks, a.k.a. Bo Nix. Nix has 4 picks in 2 games. He's a rookie, of course. I don't know if you saw it, but in the post game after last week, reporter asked him about the interception he threw into the end zone. And Nix didn't bat an eye. And he said, yeah, I dropped back and I threw the ball to the other team. So I think I like that mindset, and I think he's going to be okay, but I think he'll be okay because he has a great coach, and that's Sean Payton. Check this out about Payton. In weeks 1 and 2 of an NFL season, he's a combined 12-22 against the spread. Over the last 20 years, that's the second worst record over in weeks 1 and 2. If you go to Why Lose Coach Rick, you can find out who number 1 is. Fast forward to weeks 3 and 4, you give Sean Payton some time to adjust. All right. And in weeks 3 and 4, in the last 20 years, he is 22-9-1 against the spread. That record is number 1 amongst about 130 some coaches over the last 2 decades. So I think he will adjust. I don't know if they'll win, but I do expect that Tampa Bay will have a little bit of a letdown. I like Baker Mayfield, but he is 15-26-1 against the spread when he plays as a favorite. So I think one of the big surprises you're going to see this week is Denver plus 6.5.
I can't talk you off of that. I actually do co-sign the play. I was looking at the Broncos. I thought this was going to be the spot for the Broncos. Of course, the Buccaneers coming off such a big win, now playing a big number. I think you're buying, high on the Broncos, and you're catching a number in the spot. All right, moving on to your second play, and your second play is
Giants versus Browns.
This one's the Giants and Browns. You got two offenses that are just horrible. Both of them were awful in week 1. Last week, a little bit better, but not much. Deshaun Watson, I have got to have this guy's agent because the guy's got a $230 million contract, and he is 31st in the NFL in passing success rate. Only one guy worse, Bo Picks. Anyway, 14, 17, 18. Those are Cleveland's totals in the last 4 games. Giants scored 6 points in week 1, 18 last week. Neither of these offenses is good. Cleveland's got 2 O-line starters that could be out. When you're missing guys up front, it's tough. Just ask the Rams. Browns defense is still pretty good. They played well last week. The unders cashed 12 times in the last 17 Giants games, and I think you're going to see it again. This total opened at 42.5, all the way down to 38.5 now. I'm going to get it now before it goes any lower. Give me the under 38.5.
all right. Well, there you have it from Coach Rick. 2 plays for you guys this week. He has the Denver Broncos plus the points, and he has the Giants Browns under the posted total. That's been pretty much the theme of the show this week, is under the posted total. I think I went over in one game. Everything else has been under. Team totals under. So I guess we're looking for a low-scoring weekend on Sunday. We get that low-scoring weekend, we're going to be making a lot of people happy. Coach, always a pleasure. We'll see you back at ylose.com. Guys, you want to check out the coach, make sure you get to his page right now. That's ylose.com/coach. Coach, until next week, buddy.
Yes, sir. We'll see you.
Panthers versus Raiders.
So the Bryce Young experiment is finally over. Thank God. In steps the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton. Look, I told you, I didn't get the script last week, so this week, I write it. Andy steps in. The Panthers score way more than 10 points. Covers against the Raiders. Print it. I actually was on Carolina regardless. I just happened to like the spot. Raiders just beat the Ravens. Party like it was 1999. There are yards and points to be had against this Raiders defense. 23rd in yards, 27th in yards per play, 29th in rushing yards, 31st in yards per carry, 29th in sacks. So they can't stop the run. They give up chunk plays. It's simple. Run the ball, play action pass. You have a veteran quarterback who should be clean in the pocket. Give me the Carolina Panthers plus the 5.5.
Dolphins versus Seahawks.
Seattle's laying 4.5. The total here is at 41.5. This one opened up at 6.5, and I played it at open. I'm not the only one. It's already moved 2 points in the Dolphins' direction. Seattle's just been unimpressive. Struggled to score against the Broncos. Took OT to beat the Patriots. Broncos and Patriots, both teams are going to be drafting top 5 next year. Everyone talks about the air raid from the Dolphins, and rightfully so. Tua, Tyreek, Waddle. But their ground game was the best in the league last season. 6 yards per carry. And Seattle, 22nd against the run. What's the best way to help out a young quarterback? Run the ball. You won't see the same Skylar Thompson that you watched on Thursday night. That was a tough ask. Down 3 touchdowns. Just watch Tua stagger off the field. This week he preps as QB1, and we all know Mike McDaniels is a sharp dude, and he has extra time to prepare. And remember, this is still Geno Smith. 10-16-2 against the spread as a favorite. 2-8 ATS when laying more than 4. Both Seahawks wins this season by 6 or less. Give me the Dolphins. Miami covers this number.
Ravens versus Cowboys.
Game of the week and my best bet on the show, the Ravens at the Cowboys. And if at first you don't succeed, try again. Of course, I lost with the Dallas Cowboys last week. Dallas doesn't lose 2 straight in Dallas. Prescott is 16-2 at home. This is a better spot for the Cowboys. No one knew what the Saints were going to be. No one knew that Derek Carr was going to be decisive, deliberate. He knew what he wanted to do, and he executed. Lamar's anything but. Lamar's very much off script, indecisive, makes bad decisions. His athleticism just happens to mask his imperfections. You can't control him. You only hope to contain him. And the Cowboys have the athletes up front to do just that. Ravens defense right now is a shit show. 30th in completions allowed, 28th in most yards per completion. Back to the scene of the crime, back to Big D, back with the Big G. Ravens are going to start the season now 0-3. Give me the Cowboys plus the point.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah!
49ers versus Rams.
The Niners are laying 7. The total here is at 44.5. And this total has no business being this high. Have you seen LA's offense? Puka Nacua is out. Cooper Kupp is out. Higbee is out. Who's stacking for the Rams are 26th in offensive DVOA. Niners without Debo, without McCaffrey. San Francisco's wide receivers, second worst separation in the league. Purdy, 1 touchdown this year. All signs point to the under. It opened up at 47.5. I feel it should be closer to 40. Jump on it while you still can. Under the posted total.
J.A. Cavalier's Pro Football Triple Crown. 3 NFL games for this Sunday. 3 straight, 3 two-team parlays, 1 week, $99. His Pro Football Triple Crown must go 3-0 or the entire NFL season is free. J.A. Cavalier's Pro Football Triple Crown. Link in the description below. Click the link now and jump on the money train.
That's right. Get to ylose.com. That's the letter Y, LOSE.com. Free picks, stats, trends, scores, odds, and more. That's the letter Y, LOSE.com. Pick up this week's Triple Crown. 3 max bets, 3 straight, 3 two-team parlays. After the weekend I had last week, this is the weekend you want to ride. Big Daddy doesn't have 2 bad weeks in a row. Not in the NFL, not during the NFL season. I am the Lizard King. I can do anything. And this week, I look to break out the brooms. We're going to sweep the board. $100 player makes over $1,000. $1,000 player makes over $10,000 on my NFL Triple Crown. Click the link below. All right, guys. Until next week when I break down NFL Week 4. This has been NFL Week 3. I'll see you then. Remember, yesterday's a memory. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. You're here now. You're alive. Make it count, make it count, make it count.
Everybody sucks.